And at the break, we were talking about 20 Franklin Street and the WBDC investing tens of millions of dollars in repurposing an older building, a complicated building, a contaminated building with mixed-use space. So right now, what's in there, and kind of, you mentioned Quincy, but maybe you could just talk about the different kind of uses that are taking place and some of the opportunities, and then we'll get into Worcester.
Sure. So we'll start on the 4th floor of the 20 Franklin Street side of the building. We have 1024 Digital Solutions, which I believe was a guest on your show not too long ago. Great company that relocated from Northborough to downtown Worcester. Great story. They're expanding. They've hired 5 to 6 people since they've been downtown. They hire a lot of interns from the local colleges, just the type of company we want to see downtown.
Innovation tech company.
There are a bunch of smaller startups as well, Bluefin Technologies, Origin Consulting, Action Worcester, which is a very exciting presence downtown, doing a lot of creative work there. And Action Worcester also operates the Worcester Idea Lab on the 1st floor, doing more innovative and entrepreneurship programming for the community at large.
And then Quincy taking a big piece of it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And as I said before, a new cafe should be opening up within the year, as well as getting the Luteria online.
And Erin, you know, we talked a little bit during the break, but we did refer to it, you know, during the course of our first segment about, you know, activating spaces, things happening. So, you know, the kind of pop-up idea, the concerts on the Common, programming, and a big part of the Culture Coalition is marketing a lot of the programming that each one of the participants, the organizations, are doing on their own, and how do you market them in a coherent way and promote them holistically as well as individually. But it's about creating these experiences that excite people, that bring people to places and together. And so we've seen what the impact that Hanover Theater has had in bringing people into the city and that's, I think, a good example for many in the public. But how this Luteria, what is it, and how is it going to play or add to that mix of options?
Sure. Every 3 years, the coalition does an action agenda, a strategic plan. They reach out to the community, they talk with the city leaders, they determine what can we do collectively that we haven't done before. So all those initiatives we talked about previously grew out of those action agendas. 2 years ago, we did an action agenda, and our member organizations were really missing having a performance space. One, an informal space, as well as something that would be a professional space that would seat 300 people. So the front, as I mentioned, of the Luteria will be this pop-up space. It'll have retail from our member organizations. It'll have videos, films, all kinds of activity. And the rear will be a theater, per se. I like to call it a performance venue because people think black box theater and they think that's not for me. This is a space that anybody can use. It will be very accessible, and we intend to go online next year in 2018 with the theater and the pop-up space in the front this summer, actually.
And they flow into each other, and so
they do.
People could get a reception. That's a nice swing space where the current pop-up or Luteria kind of spaces. So this theater, you know, there's some work behind it. It's really flexible, kind of a more intimate maybe than a larger theater and people's ideas. What are some of the uses that you see and you're working on with the coalition?
We see all sorts of uses going in there, from film to dance to theater to music. In addition, we're excited because this will complement the work from the entrepreneurs in the Idea Lab. They'll be able to utilize the space for launch parties, for new products or ideas, for conferences, for meetings. A very versatile space that we've just started the design process, and we're looking forward to seeing how it unfolds as we move forward.
Right.
I'd like to mention that the Hanover Theater is instrumental in this design as well.
Absolutely.
Troy has been working with WBDC and with myself for a number of years of bringing this theater space to life, even before we thought of a pop-up. And with the opening of their new conservatory for acting, performance, lighting, and construction in their conservatory space adjacent to the theater, they will be able to use the actual 300-seat theater for their performances. So they will partner with the coalition to manage the theater space, but the overall operations will be under the auspices of the Cultural Coalition in partnership with them.
You know, and I think that's, you mentioned Troy specifically, but the Hanover team and Troy, a big part of that. But the whole idea in the WBDC master plan, you know, when they looked at embarking on the repurposing and the redevelopment of the 20 Franklin Street Telegram building, they engaged in a master plan, and when Hanover was a part of that, in the idea of a theater district, not just being that, but a place where there's lots of different kind of arts, performing culture, spirit, and ambiance, and that continues to grow, and Woteria would just add to that and the options in the area.
That's right, and the city manager is gung-ho on having at least 100 events happening in the city outside to catalyze change in the downtown. So we're working very directly with our cultural partners to bring them out to create new events, films on the Common. This weekend we have the Luge, tomorrow night actually, and free skating.
St. Cobain, another great Worcester company, chamber member business supporting that.
There you go, and free skating is tomorrow night. And what else can we do to activate the downtown? We'll be talking with some of the developers there to see how they might partner to bring creativity in their design elements and the kind of programmings or activities they actually have.
You know, and these investments and these partnerships, you know, pay dividends. We're seeing MG2, you know, the Brew, the coffee shop. They've got a sandwich shop that's opened up. Obviously, the printers building with the Davis family and the maker space at WICN, you know, being there.
Right.
And the public library, a major anchor as well.
And around the corner, we intend to take additional empty storefronts and populate them over the next year. In the summertime, we want to add on the Common something like they do in Germany, that around the holiday time there are little shacks where people, while they come and skate, can then go and buy things.
Right.
Just serendipity, the kind of thing that you would like to experience if you're going to a city to visit.
Yeah, I remember seeing a similar thing down in New York City at the public library during the winter, these kind of tents where people can kind of sell their crafts and wares in season. It just adds to kind of the options and the spirit. Well, I want to thank you both for joining us, and we'll have you back at some point to give us an update before ribbon cutting time and the launch. But I think it's just another example of people working together collaboratively that involves a level of trust and persistence to get things done, and you can see real tangible progress